Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is MyCollectables. We got a really special video today. Ron English is going to join us for an interview right here. Ron has got a new drop coming to Veve. It's the first time we're ever going to have music here, and we're so lucky to have him. Here he is right here. Ron, thanks so much for joining the channel.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Mr. MC1 Sanjay, who connected us through that Twitter space that happened the other day. That's so awesome. Do you know Sanjay very well?
Yeah, I think he might have a party for all the Veve people when we're down in Dallas in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, just like the party that your drop got us into in New York, which was amazing, by the way. We'll touch on that in a little bit, but yeah, so you got the first ever music drop coming to Veve, and I know a lot of people are really excited about it. I did a poll question on X, and because Veve's dropping some pretty cool stuff lately with the sports and everything, and yours was number one. People picked yours, like your drop, as being the most, the one they're most excited for. So, how are you? Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on this for a long time. I had the concept before the pandemic, but
Yeah.
the technology wasn't there to create this project at that point, so it had to be created by the Veve team. So
Yeah, for
it's been a
sure.
long journey, and I'm just hoping the whole time that some other platform didn't come up with the same concept. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you do something new, or if you have an idea, there's 10 other people in the world that are having that idea, and do they have a Veve behind them to make it actually happen? Is probably the ultimate question. But I think
Yeah.
we made it to the finish line before anybody else.
Yeah, that's awesome. How long have you guys been working on this for?
The first time we talked about it was just before the pandemic. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I think David Yu was the last person to come to our house before we locked our doors and said, "That's it. Nobody else is coming through."
No way. Wow.
So, and I
So
think he
it's
had just met with DC and Marvel and Disney out in LA, and
yeah.
so he was on his tour and I think everybody was kind of having a little chuckle over him at that moment. They just thought, right, whatever. Sure. I mean, but he did get them to sign, but he said he didn't think they really had a concept of what he was actually doing.
Right. Yeah, I was we had Jermaine Rogers on the channel a little while ago, and he was talking about some of those early days when David was going around and meeting you and meeting others, kind of like showing the ideas of the future. So he obviously met with you. That that wasn't the first time you guys met, though. Was that, or was
No,
it?
no, I've known David for a long time, and I see him in different places around the world, or I have over
Yeah.
the years. And like when I bought that Banksy at auction, he was there, or I see him in Indonesia or different places. He gets around, yeah.
No way. That's
But
awesome. So
yeah,
when you first came to you with like the Veve, idea,
mhm.
what did you think of it? I mean, obviously you must have thought it was pretty interesting because you're here and you guys are working together and we're getting all these amazing drops that you're doing. And but what was your first initial kind of feelings about the whole thing?
Well, I mean, I think that like the jukebox was one of my first, initial feelings, and I thought, well, it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting. This is what I thought at that moment, is that he's probably going to do really well when you get issue number 1 of Spider-Man. But I think going into the future, it has to get more interesting. And,
Right.
maybe in one of the comic books we do, it should have like some of the panels come to life or sing a song or do something. And one of the things I was thinking, it would be great to have a jukebox that's an actual collectible, but you could
Right.
insert more and more stuff into it and it would play different songs. And, and also I understood that if this works, that the Rolling Stones will want to do it, and Jay-Z will want to do it, and so everybody will have their own jukebox. But again, David promised me this whole time, it's like, this is your idea, and we're going to make sure that your band, the Rabbits, is the first one that ever comes out with their own jukebox, and then everybody else will have to line up behind you. And he stayed true to his word on that one. So yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm sure he's getting a lot of pressure from a lot of different people to do this. So
Yeah, no, that's amazing though. This is all,
but
and then people are super stoked about it, and it looks amazing as well.
well, the strange thing about David, or the different thing about him, is he deals in the big leagues with the biggest companies in the world and the CEOs of these companies and stuff. But
Yeah.
like me and some of the other artists like Jeremy, or um, he's always kind of liked our art and been fan. And then when he got big, he kept us in the roster, And
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, I don't think there was any. I mean, he didn't have to do that, and we appreciate that he did that. That's really a big deal for us to, be in the leagues with Disney and Warner Brothers, and
Yeah.
very different to be an independent artist. I own all my rights to everything. I own all my characters. I own all my songs, and
Yeah.
it's a very different universe. And I haven't sold off anything yet. So
Yeah, no doubt. And so you see digital as like a way to go for the future as well, because I can see obviously with your studio behind you and all of your like physical stuff that you got and your paintings. And I mean, digital is obviously a big part of it. It must be for you. Hey, you see where it's going?
yeah, and also I've been very encouraging for him to do the his metaverse, which he's already started for a couple different companies, because
Right.
ultimately I think that's where it's going to be more like I played Grand Theft Auto with my son years ago, and
Yeah.
so I hijacked a couple cars or whatever, and actually got bored with hijacking cars. I've actually stole cars in real life, so
Yeah.
no, but I was
Yeah.
more interested in. It's like, well, there's a theater, and it's like let's run into the theater, and we were ducking into the theater so we wouldn't get shot or something. But then he goes, okay, the coast is clear, let's get out, and it's all like, well, do they have a movie in this theater? And it's like, yeah, they have a movie. It's like, well, how long does the movie go? And so I stayed in the theater and watched the whole movie. And the movie ended up being a 20-minute movie, but it was
Sure.
kind of interesting because what a weird space. It's inside this game. And
Yeah.
they just gave it to this person because there's a lot of filler in games like that. Oh, like this wall has to be painted this way, and this you have to. So
Right.
somebody got to make a 20-minute piece, and they probably just said, "Do whatever the fuck you want. We don't care. Nobody's gonna watch your stupid movie." It was really an amazing little short film and what a great place to see it, and then if you
Right.
crazies like me that get tired of hijacking cars and want to stop and see a movie, there it is, and
Yeah,
it's hard to tell how many people actually hung out and watched the movie, but I think that he got a lot of creative leeway to make that because it seemed like he just did whatever he wanted.
for
But anyway,
sure.
so that was, like my ideas kind of have all branched off of that, and I realized that that's a great way to see art, like as
Yeah.
we create the rabbit hole in the Veve verse, we can sell you spray paint and you can go spray paint, and I can actually do a piece and you can paint over it, and then maybe before you get up in the morning to show all your friends what you did in the Veve verse last night, somebody else hits on top of you, or it can be very interactive.
Right. Yeah, that's an amazing way to think of it for sure. I never really thought of it that way. I just basically myself, because there's some people who have gotten like just random access to the initial parts of the VV verse
Mhm.
where it's like beta testing. So, we can't show anything because we're still just
Right.
providing feedback. I literally was just able to get in and I'm in the fifth wave or whatever, and I'm just starting to play around in there. And yeah, that some of that, and it's just in my own little space, but
Mhm.
the creativity that you can do that some people have done in the digital space is crazy. And I love that point because you're talking about like the VV verse inside, the ability to have like people create art in there, especially in the VV environment. Like
Mhm.
yourself, do you think that you would do stuff like that if you had that space in there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he hasn't let me in the space yet. Every time I ask him, he says, "Yeah, yeah, but I'll get somebody to call you tomorrow." But,
Yeah.
I haven't. I've
They're
only seen
testing
it
still.
I've only seen it at a convention, but, I have been working on I started building out, Area 54. Like, this whole Delusionville thing is this one big story, and
Yeah.
a sub-story to that, or a super origin story to that is, Area 54 and Orion Blue, the alien. So I'm building this government compound that they built where they try to attract people from aliens from around the universe to come to these grand parties, and that's what it's always been about. And then they steal their technology while they're having a big party because 90% of the aliens transversing the universe are just rich party kids looking for the coolest party, and
That's
that's really what
awesome.
it is. So anyways, I'm building that out to drop into the VV verse and a bunch of other stuff, and I just want to like a lot of stuff that's fun and entertaining, where that's not necessarily a point of transaction. It's just if
Yeah.
if you're already here, here's some fun stuff to explore.
100%. Yeah.
But
That's yeah.
I have like a bowling alley, but it's the Alley Quack, the duck character. She plays the bowling pin.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of her, and the object is to bowl without ever knocking down a pin because you'll hurt her. And so you
Yeah.
try to get gutter balls, but there's these little gutter balls that live in the gutters that try to keep your ball out of the gutter. And then if they knock your ball out of the gutter and it hits one of Alley Quack's figures, then you lose. And we have another one that's like a pool table. And when you put in your money and you push it, it's all full of water, and the water starts draining out. and there's sharks swimming around, and you're trying to get all the beach balls into the holes to plug the holes, because if the water goes down too far, the sharks come out and eat you. Or
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so we're kind of dreaming up a lot of game stuff that could be in the universe.
That is awesome for sure. Yeah. So you'll get access probably pretty quick once they iron out all the bugs, I guess, because they're kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
testing everybody, right, to see like how the functionality works. And I literally just of seeing it for the first time, like literally yesterday. This we're talking on March 8th, so like literally yesterday I popped in there. But your drop, and I want to talk about your drop, right, because
Mhm.
you know, this is pretty special. And like you alluded to, other musical artists are going to want to do this as well. And how
Mhm.
cool it is that we started here, that you've actually are the first one.
Mhm.
And I got the article up right here, right, for Veve right here. I did a video on it, my little breakdown on it as well. But I wanted to get your thoughts about it because, you know, and just maybe explain it a little bit for people, because I know there's that first song,
Mhm.
right, from your album, right? And this is what we're getting right here. And I know there's the different drop numbers and the price of it all and all that kind of stuff, right? But,
Mhm.
and by the way, that is amazingly done. Just so you know, the feedback that people are getting is like they really love, like, you know, just the price of it and the
Mhm.
quantity and all that kind of stuff and how it looks. That's amazing. But do you mind just giving us a bit of a background about the music, this first song that's coming out, which is right here? This is the you know,
Oh,
the Living
first
in
song,
Delusionville.
the
Yeah.
first song is "Living in Delusionville," and
Yeah.
in that song, the primary characters from the very first part of Delusionville come out and do a little introduction. So different vocalists play the different characters. Like
Yeah.
Russell Cusick, the opera singer, plays Bo Leaf, the big majestic sheep that has the big cult. And yeah, so it's very interesting. A lot of people have helped me with this. You know,
Right.
people like, even some famous people like Travie McCoy plays Pause. Um, Slash is he plays on some of the records. So so we've been
Slash.
working on this for a while. Yeah, but the great thing is, if it, I it's not it's like a project. So I bring different people in to make each one of the songs, and different singers
Right.
play different characters. So I mean, it's not that dissimilar. There's like a core group of people that are the rabbits, and then we bring different people in, and horn players in, or different keyboard players. So it's a lot like, it's not that different than being the Rolling Stones and saying, well, on this record we want some gospel singers, and we want a saxophone, and I get people at the same level they do. I'm very
Right.
fortunate to have landed in the Hudson Valley,
Yeah.
and in a little place called Beacon, and all the biggest musicians in the world and all the sidemen are up here. So they're all hanging out, like Bruce Springsteen's singers, his backup singers,
No way.
play in the Rabbits, because when he's not on the road, they're just sort of hanging out, and they're looking for stuff to do. And
Right.
so that's how we pulled off making these amazing records with amazing music. You know,
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through
having
right now.
access
You can
to all
see,
these really great musicians.
yeah, I'm just scrolling through on your website right now, just some of the musicians and stuff that you've worked with, like specifically what says right here with Delusionville. So that is awesome. And this is so the band name is called Rabbits.
Yeah, you
Like,
have to misspell it. It's with three B's.
yeah, for
And the
sure.
rabbits were brought by Orion to planet Earth to harvest humans for food, and that's a whole other story that was told in the comic book,
Yeah.
about how he lands and he decides humans are too skinny, and he comes up with a way to fatten them up, and invents fast food, and it was stolen by McDonald's, and that whole story is in the comic book. And then the other story is the rabbits, who were his pets. Um, and I picked the rabbits as the main character. They have 3 eyes and 3 ears and everything, but in art,
Right
traditionally
there.
the rabbit has represented the proletariat, so they're kind of like the proletariat. And maybe the people in Delusionville, or the animals in Delusionville, may think more of them because they were able to get across the universe, but that wasn't really them. That was they were brought because they would reproduce, and be food for Orion on his way here, and or be his pets or whatever.
For
Anyway,
sure.
so they're the people, they helped start Delusionville, and then more and more animals came in, and expanded the universe.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. You have a whole world right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before this, when my kids were young, I did like a couple paintings of like my daughter when she was very young, and just because you want to do it or whatever. And I made her as a
Yeah.
Shriner and as a clown drinking champagne or different things. And I thought, well, that'll be fun, and nobody's ever going to want that. And it actually kind of turned into a big thing. And
Yeah.
so for like 10 years straight, my whole body of work was paintings of my kids being Shriners and different things. And they got really popular, like the Kiss kids and the Curse kids. But I always told them, it's like, if you don't want to do this, if it starts to bother you, then just tell me we're not doing this anymore, and no questions asked, we're not doing it anymore. And then the day came that they said, we're not doing this anymore. And I'm like, crap, this is my career now. It's like, I
Yeah,
gotta have a
right.
backup plan. And then that's when I invented Delusion Ville, because I thought, well, let me make something that can keep getting bigger and bigger and expand into different formats. It could expand into the Veveverse. It could be a movie. It could be a cartoon, but
Yeah.
something that I can just keep growing, and that's not going to one day turn around and go, oh, you can't do us anymore.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like my last big project in this world, is to create Delusionville, this expanding universe.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, like, we already have some on Vivi and everything, right? So is the
Yeah.
plan to keep kind of like adding more? And I know you probably can't talk about everything, but
Oh yeah. I mean, a
yeah,
lot of it's just, we can only do so many drops a year. We're competing with a lot of other people doing drops. And
right.
so, and like with the comic book stuff, I want to do one in the fall, but I also have to draw the whole thing. And now I'm kind of interested in maybe animating a little bits of it and stuff. So
Yeah. This
Um,
was really,
but
really
no,
well
I mean,
done.
he's never told me not to. They told me not to talk about the jukebox until now, but
Okay. Yeah.
but mostly I don't know if he cares, if they care if I disclose what we're working on, because like we have the Delusionville cards, and some of the cards animate like the super rares. But again, it's just I've done all the work to get everything ready to release. It's
Yeah.
just now we wait to get a release date.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're working way ahead. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the plans, yeah, that's so like when you guys were first talking, like did he lay out kind of plans about like this is David, right? Do you
yeah.
guys have good discussions about like what he was gonna do with the app and the platform and the VV verse? Like with all these kind of things, like kind of like earlier on, because we only hear about them as they get
Oh,
announced, like
yeah.
just as people on this side of the wall, right? So you guys must have had some really good discussions about that as well, about kind of plans for you and the plans about your stuff, and also wherever else he's going, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, they
yeah,
came up to Beacon around just before Christmas, I guess.
yeah.
And we sat down and had a meeting, and then we kind of lay out what we're going to do over the next year. But
Oh, okay. So you
yeah,
already
yeah,
know ahead of time like that. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, yeah. And I do a lot of the work with my own team, just to, because I mean, at first their team was only like 3 people or something. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So originally, they were going to make everything. So like they made all the serial killers.
yeah,
But I thought, if I'm going to stay in the queue, and I knew it was going to get big and it was going to get crazier and crazier, and I thought, to keep in the game, I'm going to probably want to get my own team to start animating and creating stuff, so that I can jump in the queue quicker and not wait for them to have to do it, because they're probably overwhelmed.
yeah.
I
That's
don't think they ever thought it was going to get this big. I think they were kind of surprised too.
right.
And another interesting thing is the fans. I mean, they got the greatest fans. It became a big club. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh, 100% for sure. People love the work you're doing right here. The Ukraine relief project, that was really amazing. The
Well,
the
you know,
great
you know how that happened, right?
No, I was gonna that's what I wanted to
Well,
ask
when
you
we
about, like,
first
how did
worked
that
on the
go?
jukebox, that
Yeah,
he got the team together to do it, and he
yeah.
got eight guys from the Ukraine that were working on the jukebox,
No
developing
way.
that technology. And then one day they were gone.
Yeah,
So I called him up and I said, well, we need to do something. And then he said, well, look, I don't think Disney or most of these people can't be involved in politics,
right.
and that's another thing about being independent. You can, but he thought, well, let's think of like how we can do some good without really getting in the middle of like some international conflict. And we thought, well, the Red Cross, right? Because all
Right,
they're going to do is when people come across the border, they're going to give them clothes and food and help them out. And it's like, you're not really taking any side or anything. I mean, obviously I'm on a certain side,
right.
but that's a way to help without, you know, getting a big company that's just now happened into any kind of controversy. It's like, 'cause
Exactly, yeah.
nobody can get mad that you're helping a mother and her 2 kids, get some food when they just got ran out of their country.
Yeah,
But
no,
anyway, it was amazing.
yeah.
I thought some like Frank Kozak or some of the other artists would do it, but I guess when it kind of came the day to do it, I realized, shit, I'm the only one. So, but
Yeah.
but like in less than a second, we raised like $1 million. So
It's absolutely amazing. Hey,
we meaning you and the whole Veve-verse, you know,
right?
and that's when, you know, it kind of realized what a great loving community it was, you know.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, hopefully we don't have to do too many more of those, but I'm sure we will.
Well,
As,
it's good that
the,
we have that
yeah,
capacity.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so you guys were talking about the jukebox when that was going on, and so do you have people now that help you create the stuff? So you, like you said, you don't have to wait too long for the VV team. I know, like you said, they're super busy, right? But so
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you have, like you mentioned, like for your characters and for your future drops, you think they'll the timeline will be moved up a bit for you?
I don't know. But yes, we have a lot of stuff queued up and ready to go. We have all the VIP
cool.
cards for the Area 54.
Yeah.
Probably within 2 weeks, we'll have Area 54 built out. I
Oh
started
my
working on
God.
ad land, which is all like billboards, like it's a neighborhood that's just all ads. So, yeah, I slowly work on stuff, and you know, I
Yeah.
think at some point when he gives me a rabbit hole, I'm sure the VV team will probably help too to build out some of that stuff. But I like
Yeah,
to get as much stuff done in advance as I can.
for sure. Do you mind me asking about what's right behind you? Because I've been staring at that the whole time that
Oh,
you've been talking.
we're in my painting studio.
Yeah, that's
So I'm working
incredible.
on a show for LA that opens June 11th, I believe,
Okay,
at
yeah.
Alouche Gallery. So
Is it? Yeah.
this is kind of like Guernica,
Yeah, right.
drawn by Mouse Bass Murphy.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. Look at the size. That's amazing.
That's actually
Look at
small for me. So
it's small for you. Yeah, I know you've done some big stuff for sure, right?
yeah, bigger is more fun, and you know, it's not actually more difficult. It's just you get a bigger brush, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't agree because, like, I mean, I'll take your word for it, is what I meant to say, because you would know. But I mean, it seems like that giant figure that you did, and sorry, I forgot the name, but the green character that you did, all the
The
photos are
the
coming out in
the, the temper
December.
tot, yeah,
Yeah, that is so amazing. Can we get that on the app? I would love
yeah. Let's
that.
do it.
Excuse me. One thing I wanted to ask you about too, because Vivi, started to do that stuff with Funko right around the exact time that we had your drops come out. With the little. I'm sorry, I'm just calling him the little Monopoly guy because that's what everybody remembers
Yeah,
him, right? And
the
the
mobile
act.
brand, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and of course with your comic as well. But you have Funkos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, this is crazy, right? So like, because VV has that Funko, kind of like they did the Fidgetal, right, with the Iron Man that you see behind me. And then I was
Mhm.
on eBay and I was checking it out, and you've got Funkos, like, and I think from what I read is you might be one of the only like independent artists like yourself that actually has like Funkos created. I don't know if that's fully like, but how
Yeah,
did that
I think so,
happen?
yeah.
Because that's incredible. And are
Well,
you going to do more?
the company I work with in China, MindStyle,
Okay. Yeah.
MD Young is the CEO, and he does propaganda, but he also does Funko,
Right.
and so he creates all the Funko figures and all the giant figures and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, so he actually gets to decide the Asian market. He's in charge of the Asian market, which is huge. You always think, oh yeah, but yeah, U.S. or whatever. But remember,
Right.
there's 10 times more people there, so it's actually a bigger market.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this must be really cool for you to see. Like, I mean, I don't know. This is awesome. Like all the different versions you have right here and the different characters you have. So, do you know how many you have?
I know we have a bunch queued up, so I'm
Yeah.
never sure which ones are going to green light and which ones are going to be released. But we
Okay.
have a lot that are sculpted. I even have one of myself, like a
Yeah.
little figure. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
we get everything ready, and then Funko usually controls like the drop releases and stuff, and they
yeah.
coordinate all that stuff. So I don't have any inside information on that, but I will be in
No.
China in May. So we'll do one big event, and we'll do another big event in sometime in the summer called Sugar Circus. That's where we're going to drop like a whole bunch of new toys and stuff
That is
for the
awesome.
Asian market.
Do you think there might be a potential for kind of like a Fidgetal sort of thing with Vivi and yourself? Or, I mean,
Again, that's up to David. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We'll just leave
Yeah.
it there for
Yeah,
sure on
yeah.
that one.
You give him
Now,
that idea, and we'll see if he bites.
Yeah, 100%. Because people, I mean, and people are really kind of getting a kick out of that now. I think that it's kind of like the next. I mean, it's funny because for myself, I'm always like a physical toy collector and physical comic book collector from the past and everything. And the whole digital thing, for me is newer, right? I mean, the last like 2 to 3 years, and I'm really, really enjoying it, like in combination with the both. Like I've always had that kind of. So it's pretty cool to have that kind of that both thing going on. It's really cool to see an artist like of your level and your importance and everything going into this area as well. And do you have other like I think I saw on, do you have other stuff on the OpenSea as well, like for your work, or is it just Veve for
I've never put anything on OpenSea, but that's
yeah.
people that have bought stuff at Nifty Gateway or on another platform that are reselling it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, 100%. Because
That's like when you see the toys on eBay. That's not where we sell the toys, but when people resell them, that's where they sell them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Right. But yeah, that is awesome. So the drop coming up, just one last thing here about it, right? So it's coming up right here. Are you stoked about it?
Yeah, this is huge. I think this is, I mean, I feel like that we're making history and that we've done something that has some historical significance. So
Right.
that's just my point of view. But yeah, I feel really awesome about this. And it was interesting that I conceptualized something that couldn't be done at that point in time, and the Veve crew figured out a way to make it happen.
Yeah, that is amazing right here. And is this just the first of the many tracks we'll get, like the many songs
Yeah,
we'll get?
we have a lot of tracks ready to roll.
Do you think we'll get more jukeboxes? Because that's so cool.
Well, I was talking to David about I also just did, I do other things besides the rabbits musically.
Yeah.
So in the past, I've done rock operas or collaborations with Daniel Johnson, and now I did one with Joe Johnson. That's a rock opera about the Andy Warhol factory and all the crazy people that came and went from there.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
we're just finishing recording all that. So I think that would be interesting to create like a Andy Warhol jukebox and maybe not sell them one single at a time, but you can, if you buy the jukebox, you get the whole opera maybe, or
Yeah, right.
and then maybe if you get the gold version, we'll have a few extra songs or something. Or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I know you have some other stuff coming up too. I was looking at your site right here. It looks like May 20th. There's you have a gallery showing right here. Is that in New York?
Oh,
this is on your website here. Yeah. Sorry to just throw this up at you right here, but
that was already happened.
Oh, this one's already happened. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Must have been last year. This year is Dallas and LA. LA will be Alush, and it'll be like the other half of that show that we did in New York with him.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. There's the temper tot down there. That is so cool. There's so much amazing stuff you could do, and I'm sure we'll see, right? I want this alien guy over here too. He looks awesome. But yeah,
with artists, usually you kind of booked a few years in advance, so you kind of know where you're going to be for the next 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. And so people can find you right here. You have your X page. You got your Facebook right there.
Yeah.
There's the website. I'll put it in the description of the video as always. And then there's the rabbit
Instagram too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and the Instagram as well. And then of course the eBay right there. If people want to go on the aftermarket and try to pick up some of your pops, that's amazing. And then of course, we got the stuff already on Veve, right? With the Ukraine and everything that you already have. This whole section's building out. And then the drop coming up with the first ever music. It's so awesome, man. I mean, I really want to thank you for bringing this to the community, because we've been talking a lot about the different kind of things that Veve could do. I mean, I know you have as well behind the scenes, and in the Twitter space that you were in yesterday on O'Malley's Twitter space, that was really interesting as well. You guys got into it. But like this whole other channel, this whole other kind of like way to collect, and also with the music aspect of it. Yeah. It's pretty cool to hear you think that this is like a really important and historic thing, because I think a lot of people in the community think the same thing as well.
Yeah, and it's good for the characters too. Now you can understand the characters more, and it kind of brings them more to life. And the whole thing ties together. And I think the more people go down the rabbit hole, they more realize that, wow, this whole thing kind of ties together and tells one big story. And I love when people really start getting it all.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, I think that's probably everything I wanted to ask you. I mean, I can probably keep you here for the 3 hours, but will you come back again on the channel? Because I'd love to dive even deeper into your history
Sure.
and you know, you're all the way coming up, you know, and all the amazing stuff you've done. This was more about the jukebox and about just touching on that a bit. But I really appreciate you coming on. And do you have any kind of like last things you want to kind of mention to the fam, or any kind of alpha?
Well,
I know you've already dropped a
you
little
know,
bit of alpha here.
I appreciate that a lot of people are buying this stuff and getting behind this stuff, and
Yeah,
you're actually enabling me to create all this stuff, and so I'm going to be able to make a lot more music because people are now supporting it.
yeah,
So I mean that means everything. So
yeah.
thank
That's
you.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you, and you too, Aaron. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course, man. No, it's so great you have me here. Well, anyway, we'll let you go now. And thanks so much for coming out. And people can find you on X as well, and Instagram, like you said, that
Yeah.
on
And,
Facebook as well.
or you
So,
can find me in Delusion Ville.
and in Delusion Ville, and soon to be in the Veve verse too.
Yeah, amazing, cool, man. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Ron. We'll talk to
Bye.
you soon.